related to that same question, is the federal government encroaching or not doing their job regarding a state? What is our state's relationship to the county on what they're doing? Overpowering the county or under helping the county? What is the relationship between the governor and our county?
That's sort of what I was kind of explaining when we got around to the Puget Sound Regional Council questions, is that what's happening is that our state government is handing down mandates, they're handing down laws to county government, and they're telling them they have to form these bodies, like the Puget Sound Regional Council, or to do these different things. Now, the thing that's kind of nice is I wasn't terribly happy about the Growth Management Act, but when you look at it, it's really not as restrictive as it has been made. There was room as a county for us to decide how we wanted to grow our county. And instead what's happening is we had other outside councils like the Puget Sound Regional Council come in and tell us how to do it. So what I'm getting at is the state government, if we just took those guidelines as at a minimum, I think people would still be pretty happy with our county. I think what's happening is that our county officials are selling us out, really. I wouldn't say that in every case. I think that there's some state policies that probably directly affect us that need to be changed or spoken out about. But I think really, I think a lot of it's the county officials not standing up for their citizens.
Ted, is that true?
Yeah, Summertime, what specifically are you going to do to try to win this election?
Well, I'm getting out and talking to people. And I'm trying to get them to understand that I am friendly and I'm listening to them. And something that I have found, even with groups that I may disagree with, is that on issues like the land use appeals process, how our commissioners pulled themselves out of that, whether I agree or disagree with these people, I think that they should be heard, and I think the commissioner's job is to hear those appeals. And so I've been trying to get people, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, to understand that the point is that I actually care enough to take you into my office and listen to what you or your group has to say. And I also think that in a hearing, you should be allowed to say what you need to, and then you should know how I voted on it. That's your right as local constituents, is to know how I feel about these projects. And that's what's concerning to me, is that our county officials have decided that they're not going to let us know how they feel about things. And so pretty much when I'm talking to people, my goal is to let them know that, look, you're going to know how I stand on something. It's not going to be that you have to wade through the paperwork or through the unelected officials to find out how I actually feel about something. So that's pretty much what I've been trying to get across as a message to people. As far as how I'm going to win, I've been very fortunate to work with Jack that ran last time. I've been getting some wonderful information on donors, and I've been reaching out to some groups that the party may not have spoken to before, and younger people, because that's where the vote is at, really. When you look at the list, they're the ones not voting.
What about doorbelling?
Absolutely. We've been doing that. I've been starting with some of the businesses as well, and I actually started going over towards Bremerton because I'm going to have a chamber. I think it was a chamber, either one, or the Kiwanis maybe. It was Paul Austin is his name. Take me around to the businesses here, because I think it would be a better representation that way. Good. If I have those contacts, so that's the best way to do it here in Silverdale.
Is there only? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there only one position out of the three that's up for election?
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I want to congratulate you on your signs that are being placed. Yours is striking. Josh Brown's is yucky. What did he say? I can't even read the print.
Yeah,
I mean, your sign is great versus his. Absolutely.
My sister's fiance did the design. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with it myself. It shows up.
What is his vulnerability?
Josh's?
That's a good question.
I
You've
believe
done that twice.
that his vulnerability is going to be, let's put it this way, I've received phone calls specifically about asking me about what I'm going to do about the fact that he is extremely belligerent to the citizens.
He's what?
Belligerent to the citizens. And this is someone that I wouldn't say is necessarily a Republican, because the issues that she called and asked me about were not issues that I may agree or disagree with, but her and I may disagree about a few things, let's say that, but she was very clear on the fact that he was belligerent in dealing with people, and I've heard that time and time again. I've also heard that he's not friendly. So, you know, I think really being personable is something where I think I'm going to get a lot of headway, because I like people. And I like the people that work, and I think that they built our country, and I think that that's the difference. I've actually had a job. I've been a barber for years. I built a house when I was young. I think people understand that I appreciate working class people. And that I think unless you are able to talk to those people, and for goodness sakes, be humble and appreciate what they have to say and take those ideas to heart, like you were saying, there's other ways of doing things. And if you're not willing to look into those, then you're vulnerable in those areas.
Well, that may be one vulnerability. I've had many contacts with Josh and he's been very friendly with me.
Really?
So I wouldn't necessarily say.
Calumet?
Pardon?
Not Calumet.
But anyway, the key thing though is as a county commissioner, we in Illahee had conflict about Illahee Creek and the county commissioners sort of not really wanting to get caught because there was a developer up on the hill wanting to do things. And so that's one little example of seeing him in action. But anyway, usually there is some action that an individual has taken that can be hung around their neck
There's a
that
few.
hurts them.
The land use appeals process is one. People are very upset they've taken themselves out of the land use appeals process. People are very upset about Transportation 2040. When I was speaking about the being belligerent and things like that, I probably shouldn't have put it in that category. Really the reason I brought it up is because what's happening is people realize that he doesn't do what he says he's going to do on every level. Regardless, they will either avoid it, like taking themselves out of the land use process, or they will not call people back and deal with it, like the gun range and the neighbor issue up here. All these things are issues where the county just kind of ignores things. They kind of just don't want to get, like you're saying, they kind of just don't want to get involved. And I think that's why constituents are upset right now.
Well, and you may not remember, but there was the conflict about his residency
Oh,
when
I
he
remember.
ran.
I remember.
Is that haunting him at all?
Of course, no, that's not.
That's another.
I'm not gonna bring that up unless,
Yeah.
I agree you shouldn't, but I mean, that
Yeah.
really
I
turned me
think
off.
you absolutely, we're kind of wrapping this up. I think you absolutely show a very positive image, and I think you should focus on that. And not those kind of things, like even just talking about his, what did you call it, anger?
Yeah.
Belligerence. That's not, it's not necessary. You
Right.
just say, basically say, you're going to be this is how I'm going to be. And then anybody who knows about that,
right.
then they'll go, oh, that's refreshing.